counting down to liftoff of Orion on its maiden voyage to the moon. Launch team can no longer recycle the count. Sound suppressor water now flowing under the ML. And here we go.
10.
Hydrogen burn-off igniters initiated. 7, 6, 5. 4-stage engine start. 3, 2, 1. Boosters in ignition. And liftoff of Artemis 1. We rise together back to the moon and beyond.
Well, I don't know what happened. The audio just cut out on our new intro. I have to figure that out. Hey, Dan, John.
Hi. Play it again.
And there's Bill.
Play it again. Maybe it'll work this time.
I don't know.
I'm blaming Microsoft.
Yeah.
Oh, John, that update is really killing your synchronization.
Yeah.
Hey, Rich.
John's gone black.
Hey, Rich.
Hey,
how's it going?
Black?
All right. You missed the intro.
So did everybody else.
I saw part of it. That's why I'm like, oh shit, it's time. It's been a long day.
Yeah.
So you guys,
I had to
can't see me at all, huh?
We can see you, but you're like audio's like 15 seconds ahead of your video.
Oh.
You remember what it was like when I was still trying to use the old desktop computer?
Yes.
That's what you got right now.
Well, I was going to do a public service announcement, but since I'm freezing up, I'm going to log out and restart my computer since Microsoft doesn't. I hate the fact that they don't ask you if they can update it.
They just say, hey, we're updating.
We're updating your computer. We hope your rocket launch doesn't fail. You know.
Really. And John will be back with Windows 11 in 30 seconds.
Windows 5.
Hey, that was a good one.
Joe Dog, when I saw the beginning of the new intro, I thought I was kind of flashing back to 1981 in the beginning of MeTV, or not MeTV, MTV.
Yeah, it was a flashback because that was the um, that was our original opening video.
Oh, okay. I
You
wondered
thought
if
it looked
I-
familiar.
I knew it looked different.
No, I had to replay that SLS launch because that was just absolutely beautiful.
I'm just grateful it didn't explode.
Yeah.
As long as it does half the things that they want it to do, I think it'll be an unqualified success.
So far, it is a success. It accomplished its mission.
Get off the ground.
Yeah. And has chimed in saying, wonder if Carl can find the right room. He says, I did. The new opening video, yes, Carl, it's the new opening video. Why the audio cut out, I don't know. I'll be working on that for Saturday night. And Sarah is saying hi. Steve is saying greetings. And Donna says hi, everyone. Oh, but yeah. I got me a new coffee cup. Got me a new Keurig. Just got a delivery of French vanilla coffee pods. I'm ready to go. I ordered French roast and got French vanilla. I'm not going to complain.
I got a new bottle of drugs.
What is that?
Just ibuprofen.
My trick, I guess, is your body builds tolerance to it real quick.
No, because the one that doesn't make any sense that it does what it does only can take it once, maybe twice a day if you want to push it. Yeah. And the other two are like a 3 times in 24 hours or you're going to do yourself harm. Supplements. When it starts hurting too much, I mean, these things wear off in 4 hours, so. And I notice them wearing off after 2, but I stick it out. Hello,
and
Keisha.
Keisha. Hello, beautiful Keisha.
Soon to be a new mommy.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Oh. So, Rich, were you able to stay up and watch the launch?
I glanced at it a little bit, and then the past few weeks have just whipped my ass, and I passed out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was real interesting. They had a leak down, not on the rocket, but actually on the transporter itself. They says, well, it's easy to get to. We can send some guys out to that. So they sent 3 guys out to the pad with a hammer. Actually, it was a torque wrench and some other stuff. And they were the heroes of the night.
Percussive maintenance.
There was, and they actually showed the guys. We commented about it on the broadcast that we did. There was this young dude, probably looked like he was in his mid-20s. Then there was this old guy back there, he was about my age. And then there was the safety director, or the safety man, still wearing his harness and all that. And it was your classical, the old hat, the new hat, and the safety guy.
Something else, Snoopy went up on that launch as well. I saw the Snoopy Facebook page did a little Facebook story about. I tried to share it to Stupid O'Clock group. I don't know how well it went, but it showed them floating in zero gravity up there.
Yeah. Now, neat thing about that Snoopy is the spacesuit that the Snoopy is wearing is made from the same material that the astronauts will be wearing. It's not the material the same color. No, it's the same material.
Mm-hmm.
His spacesuit is made from the spacesuit that they're wearing.
They did that back in the what was it, late 60s or whatever, the last time that he went up, or not the last time, but the first time, and that was NASA Apollo missions.
Oh, I wonder where John is. It must have been a serious reboot. John's usually back by
If it was a Windows update, the last one I did the other night took about 15 to 20 minutes.
Good grief.
From the time you hit restart to the time the download was fine, but when you hit restart and it went through it rebooted itself 2 or 3 times, but kept coming back higher and higher installation complete.
Yeah, it depends on exactly how far out of date he was to boot, because it might require multiple updates before it can do the critical update that it's demanding right now.
Uh-huh.
Well, John does his updates quite regularly. So, of course, I leave my computer on all the time. I know, Rich, you're supposed to shut them down, but mine stays on constantly.
You should restart it on a regular basis. Having it up and running constantly, not that big of an issue. It's just make sure that it's restarted on a regular basis.
Oh, I do.
At least 2-3 times a week. Any times it starts acting weird in any way, shape, and or form, definitely go ahead and do a restart.
Yeah. Well, the reason I do that is because I set my updates to start at 4:45 in the morning.
Yeah, I usually do mine about 2.
I do the same thing. I have mine set for just ungodly hours where I should not be up, and if I am up, I probably should be heavily medicated because I'm hurting badly.
Yeah. And you shouldn't be on the computer anyway.
Well, there's not an awful lot else to do at 5 o'clock in the damn morning.
And usually I'll know when I come in because there's certain things that auto start, and if I notice those are on, okay, I updated.
Yeah, I wind up having to turn off all the Lenovo bloatware as soon as the computer reboots. I'd love to uninstall all that stuff, but I'd really like for the computer to still work. So.
Oh, that's going to suck.
What?
So earlier today, me and the youngest went to the storage unit to get the Christmas tree and a bunch of other stuff while I was still somewhat able to help. While I was in there, I saw Misty's and my old laptops, so I snagged them because I promised Crow, my youngest, that I'd see which one's in the best shape, get it up and running so that they've got something to do. And I just realized those things have not run in a couple of years. The updates and maintenance I'm going to have to do on those puppies, oh dear mother of God.
Oh, yeah.
Can't you just system restore it and then let it update on its own? I mean, or are they that old? You got to dig out the old 3.5-inch floppy disk and restart everything.
No. They still have optical drives, but they don't have anything older than a DVD ROM. But actually, DVD writable. Because I don't just get readables. I refuse to. Anyways, so there are probably 2 years, 3 years out of date by now.
Oh,
So it's going to the system restore will probably, and going all the way back and then coming forward will probably be longer than just booting up in a corner and letting them go through.
week or two.
Oh,
If there's any way to install an SSD, that's the way to go.
way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, well, if it's physically possible, sure. If you got the money, sure.
Those two older ones, I don't think it have SSD bays. The ones Misty and I are on now do have SSD bays. Actually, 2 SSD bays and a 3.5 bay in each of them, with only a 250 gig SSD currently installed. So it's I do want to get a couple of terabyte, but then again, after everything's said and done, I might just build us 2 really nice gaming rigs after we get the monies from my dad's estate, and then not have to worry about doing too much other than upgrading vid cards to stay in step with our gaming, because all 3 of us like to game. So
Yeah. That's my next. I'm going to do a desktop gaming something or other. Build
I used to.
piece by piece.
I was bad about buying computers at yard sales, and boy, I got one that was a total bitch. When I plugged it in and connected it to the network, it infected the whole damn system.
Now you know why it was in the yard sale.
That's what you get for buying.
Had a can can of Raid right next to it. You should have really thought about that. But
No, it needed a can of Lysol.
was it next to their
I'll be
son's
right
box of crusty socks?
No. But basically, I had to unhook every computer and completely antivirus each one individually on the network to get all the viruses out of it. And when I got to that one, I realized,
System restore. Okay.
oh, this was worse than system. I think I had the CDC flag block installed on it. You know what that is, don't you?
I couldn't hear what you said.
I think it had the CDC Black Vault
Everybody.
installed in it. You know,
Is that-
every deadly virus known to man.
Oh yeah.
Is my computer? Is everybody freezing up, or is it just me?
It's just you.
It's
Yes,
just
you.
you, John.
It's weird because that just started like.
Yeah, but your audio is in sync with your video at the moment.
Okay. All right. Time for a
and we
public
hear
service
in sync.
Time for a what?
Public service announcement. Take this damn thing out of the freezer and start thawing it out.
Now.
Now.
Put it in the fridge. Let it.
Yep.
Yes, I have a frozen turkey in my bedroom. Enough said.
I heard the funniest thing on an episode of Frasier before coming on backstage. Said something about the turkey was so undercooked that they thought that it could been brought back to life.
A good vet could have brought it back.
Yeah. Was you watching the same one?
I've seen it before.
Yeah.
Well, of course, that's pretty much the way I like my steaks.
Mooing.
But having the frozen turkey in the bedroom gives a whole new meaning to Butterball.
Yes.
Well, you're talking about your computers. This is going to be my next computer.
Now I don't want
Looks
Now I
like the
don't-
president.
Thanksgiving dinner at John's house now, Rich. Thanks.
You know what's funny is that since Pac-Man came out, okay, computers have gotten so much more powerful that little box he just held up and showed us is probably more powerful than the original Pac-Man game.
Probably.
Mm.
Yeah. I know, of course, I had I smudged it all up. And it came back on again. I had the Atari 2600 version.
Right.
Originally. And then remember they came out with, basically it was just everything was in the control unit. And at first they came out with one for Pac-Man and one for Centipede and so on and so forth. Then eventually they came out with the one, and you would hook it up into the back of your TV. And eventually they came out with the one that would have several games on it same time. And I thought that was the most ingenious thing at the time, because you didn't have to go through hooking up miles and of cords and everything else. It's you plug one thing in and turn the TV on to a certain channel, and I think there was a little switch on the remote or whatever, or corded remote, of course. But
I am keeping up on the news about Russia and Ukraine fight and everything. It's kind of interesting. I go to all these different news sites to see if America's reporting it the way it should be reported. Such. One of the news agencies that I'm reading about is called the Hindustan Times. Apparently, I can't tell if they're out of Pakistan or northern India, but they're pro-Russian, and it's almost like North Korea is writing the news for this news agency. Putin's killer Su-35 wipes out Ukrainian military infrastructure.
Right.
well,
They hit
those
a trash
missiles.
can.
Meaning
Those
a Russian
missiles
vehicle
that-
ran over a Ukrainian child. That's a sketch.
Yeah, the missiles that were recently launched, first, when you started hearing about them, you heard Poland this, Poland that. And then they started talking about Ukraine, and then they saying, well, finally, I think I heard it on Newsy or somewhere, where they said, well, that was just retaliation to the Russian missiles that were being launched. But then they kept going back and forth that, they wasn't trying to do this or that to Poland. And
No. At first, they thought it was a Russian cruise missile that crashed into that village in Poland, and that they actually flew over Polish territory when they went from Kaliningrad, the enclave that they've got up there next to Poland, right on the North Sea area. Flew along the Polish-Belarusian border to get to Ukraine. So they thought it was one of those missiles that had crashed into Poland. And they were, wasn't an accident. Did they do it on purpose? And then it turns out when they fired these cruise missiles into Ukraine returned fire with surface-to-air missiles. And their surface-to-air missiles are the older Russian stuff. And one of those missiles, they launched it, it went out of control and crash landed in Poland and killed those 3 people.
And Ukraine's going, oh, it wasn't our fault.
Ukraine's like, our bad. But at first they were trying to blame Russia and start World War III. But, they're using whatever they've got. Most of what they got is a bunch of old Russian crap. So.
Gotta unload that Russian crap.
Hey, you know it's bad when Russia starts having to use North Korean crap. And everybody talks about the Iranian drones, which the only thing that makes them dangerous is that Iranium's shipping them in by the plane load to get them into Russia. Me personally, I think we need to shoot down a couple of airplanes before they get into Russia. Not that anyone in the Israeli Air Force would be listening to this, but just an idea.
I got a feeling, yeah. Yeah, if Israel had anything, if Israel had any way, they would be doing something about it.
Bring your mic in, Joe.
Oh, it's way over there. I forgot.
Well,
Way over there. Meanwhile,
my cousin posted a video of some Israel jet fighters.
There's that
flying
there,
along.
John.
yeah, we can't see you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Oh.
We'll just call you Mike.
All right. I got it sort of down and out of the way. Hope that is a little better. Can you hear me?
What?
Huh?
Am I doing better?
Yes, you are.
I'm thinking that our DVR may have been doing the Microsoft update, and and my internet is clogged up with Microsoft update. So
I'm not even going to talk about mine because I don't want to jinx it. So far, it's been doing pretty good. I can't figure out why.
You got updates turned off, probably.
Yeah, Bill, you've been doing absolutely wonderful. No glitches at all.
oh,
Yeah, thank you. No, the last couple of weeks, every single time, it was either the green room or stupid o'clock on Thursday or Saturdays or just stuff I was trying to do on this stupid tablet, and everything was so wonky.
Okay.
Figured they'd be calling me Willy Wonky.
They would if they'd thought of it.
Yeah. I hear echo, 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 echo.
No, I'm not hearing any echo.
Yeah, I was hearing it when I was talking. Now it's quiet.
All right. Oh. I'm thinking of moving my coffee maker in here.
I love my Keurig.
the only problem with bringing a coffee maker into a room is having to drag water.
That's why we buy water. We buy water bottles by the case. That way, I can set it up to where I don't even have to move to fill it up.
We have a Keurig machine and a water distiller. So I put distilled water in our Keurig. I make a gallon of distilled water like every other day. So, and that keeps you from having to descale as much.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now, how do you make distilled water?
It's just you put the tap water in it.
Yeah.
And it heats up the water, turns it into water vapor, runs it through a condenser, turns it back into water, drops it through a charcoal filter into a jug.
Well, if it weren't for the charcoal filter, I got some corn mash you could use.
Yeah.
No, that's a different kind of still.
No, it's the same
No,
kind
it's
of
not.
still. It's exactly the same. Stills are pretty much
that's
the
distilled
same.
water.
It's the same
That's
thing.
water
It's
for-
just the temperature's a little different. That's all.
Mhm.
I have to use spring water in mine because I don't dare use Oakwood Village water in anything like that. I want to keep my Keurig, and it's same thing. I don't have to run that cleaning pod through my Keurig. Usually I was doing it about once every 3 months, and now I've done it like twice all year long.
I don't use a cleaning pod. I use half a gallon of vinegar.
Well, that's what's in there, but
If
Half
you go
a
to
gallon?
Dollar General store, Family Dollar, any grocery store will have it. You can get cleaning vinegar. Regular white vinegar is something like 4% acid by volume.
Yeah.
Cleaning vinegar is 5%. So you actually get a little bit more reaction to it.
Now, I was just being, facetious on how much, but yeah, I run two tanks of vinegar through, and then probably 8-10 tanks of water to flush it. And we use
Well,
water.
I think a lot of it depends on how much you use it a day too, which I drink 1 cup a day, which is why I have the little single thing.
I do about 3.
Okay. They got this new. Oh, who left? Oh, Rick. Okay.
Rich.
They got this new anti-aircraft missile system in that they're using it in Ukraine. NATO's been using it for a while, and it's based on the AMRAAM,
Oh, okay.
the medium range air-to-air missile, but they have a surface-to-air version, and apparently they can put boosters on them to extend the range. And the AMRAAM's a pretty mean missile by itself,
Yes.
but they've got this search radar going through it, and so far, every time they have fired one of these missiles in Ukraine, it has scored a kill. It is 100% effective to date.
Damn.
Yes. You okay, Dan?
I'm just trying to figure out where that boop-de-boop is coming from. I mean, something is got an alert going on here, and I can't figure it out. The volume.
Do you have a backup power supply?
Nope.
With the battery? Okay.
Nope.
Smoke detector?
Not in this room.
Microwave?
Not in this room.
Pacemaker?
Not in this room. Nope.
Lindsay has had a 1979 Armatron LED watch, and now the alarm's going off on it.
I don't know. That's the only thing I haven't checked. Is the battery on my pocket watch going? I can't. My phone's got 72% charge. My
your headphones recharged?
Yeah.
Battery for your pocket watch, said the ex-Civil War reenactor.
Well, I do have one that winds up, but I keep that. That one's precious. That was a gift from someone special a long time ago. So.
I was checking my pager one time, and I was looking at the number, and I put it up on the dash of my truck and went to turn in to find a phone booth to call the pager number. My pager slid down the dash and went down the heater vent.
I knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah, those are fun to dig out.
Nope. I sold that truck with that damn pager still in the heater vent.
Of course, the battery had gone dead by then.
No, it hadn't. Every day at a certain time, you'd hear beep.
The only thing I can figure is it's the TV set, which doesn't have any batteries in it whatsoever.
Spear. It was glaring. I couldn't read it that clear.
Sprecha Fire Brewed Orange Dream Craft Soda. Ooh, Menards. Made with real honey.
Oh, yeah, Sprecher's, yeah.
Yeah. Had to,
best root beer around.
Had to make a Menards run because when we moved, we have no idea what the hell we did with our shovels, and we got a crap ton of snow last night. So...
And 11% ends on the 23rd. That'd be the last time all year.
This spring, you're going to go put those shovels up and find the other two.
Well, like I said, we moved, so we know where everything in the house is. So we think it might be somewhere in my son's garage because that's where a lot of our tools and outdoor type shit went. But we just haven't had a chance to go 3 towns over to look. So Menards was closer.
That does sound like a good suspicion there, because if that's where most of the rest of the outdoor stuff went and the tools, that's a good clue right there.
We had a guy in the military. He was down at Fort Benning, Georgia, and he had just PCS changed stations from some place up in Nebraska, and brought his snowmobile with him on a trailer. And it was kind of funny to see it. He had it out in this parking. They had a place where you could store vehicles, and that's where everybody kept their boats and their RVs and stuff like that. It's supposed to be a secure lot, fence around it all. And he had it out there for tarp over it. We'd see him every once in a while out there doing maintenance on it. Just he'd go out there, check the charge the battery, fire it up, just let it run for a few minutes, keep everything going straight, put fresh fuel in it, things like that. We'd drive by. It was usually on a Friday. Everybody was leaving work for the weekend. Of course, that's when he'd go and pull maintenance on it. Was every week on Friday on his way home. He'd stop and pull maintenance on it.
Now, where was this? Where was this base?
Fort Benning, Georgia.
He probably could have traded it in on a jet ski,
They do have
which would have been a whole lot more useful in that area if you could find a lake.
He said, "Hey, it's the Army. They'll eventually move me someplace with 6 feet of snow." So,
Not until he sells it.
yeah, that's probably it.
Maybe why he bought it went so they'd send him to Benning.
And they kept it so that they'd keep him there.
Yeah,
We're sending you to Fort Bliss, Texas. Wait, no. Wait a minute. You own a snowmobile, don't you? Yeah. We're sending you to Fort Huachuca, Arizona. It's right on the Mexican border. It's on a mountain in the middle of the desert. You'll love it. Okay.
They got a base in Hawaii. That's the next place he's going to wind up.
Hey, at least there's a place in Hawaii that gets snow.
It won't be near the base.
They'll train there, putting it in the base.
Yeah, really.
What was the movie? I want to say it was Battleground, I think it was, where the guy told the joke about there's a guy in the Army that all he does is travel around the world and looking at real estate. He says, if it's too hot in the summer, too cold in the winter, gets too much rain or too much dust, he reports it, and that's where they build an Army base. I wish I could remember the exact one. I was one of the Facebook pages that I'm a member of. They asked a question the other day: what is a war movie that didn't get enough love when it came out, that needs more attention? And there's some good ones, but a lot of people, you can tell these people don't watch a lot of TV.
Well, I was just going to ask you, is it TV or theatrical release movie?
Any war movie. And somebody said, what about Steven Spielberg's The Pacific series? I'm like, what do you mean? Do you really think that didn't get enough attention?
Platoon.
Platoon was Academy Award winning. I mean, it got enough attention. Now, I'll throw a couple out that didn't get enough attention. 84 Charlie Mopic.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it. Vietnam War movie. Great movie if you ever get a chance to see it.
And that's a perfect example.
It's a real small production. It's not a huge thing like that. Ike, Countdown to D-Day, starring Tom Selleck as Dwight Eisenhower. and it talks about him making the decisions up to D-Day. And he literally, it's all this preparation and everything that they're going through for the D-Day narration. And finally, when he says, all right, let's go. Like June the 5th, he says, let's go, and sends everybody in. He says, I've spent all these months preparing this, and there's nothing I can do now. He says, it's up to those guys in the planes, in the landing craft, on the ships, dropping by parachute. It's some 18-year-old kid with a rifle.
That's a surreal moment.
And you one moment you're literally the most powerful man on the planet, the supreme Allied commander in Europe. You have more firepower and military strength at your disposal than anyone has ever seen on the planet before. And then all of a sudden it's like, go. And you just have to sit there and wait for the reports to come in.
Call me when you're done. Oh, I'll give you another one that really didn't get much, but it's probably one of the best. Heartbreak Ridge.
That was fairly popular. I mean, that's another one of those that, people would say it didn't get enough love, and I'm like, well, I remember that being every damn where when it came out. But of course, I was in the military at the time. So.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood,
Mario Van Peebles.
Yeah, Mario Van Peebles. Me and my friends were quoting lines from that movie a good decade after it came out. So
what year did it come
might not
out?
be.
I got my ass
90s.
shot off for Ma Bell. Yeah, that's
Somewhere in the 90s. But
Early.
it might not.
late 80s.
Late 80s?
Because I was still in the
It didn't
military.
happen to be 89, did it?
I was still in high school. I apologize.
Mad about Grenada.
Yes.
Yeah.
86.
Oh, 86, okay.
Yeah, there's an actual scene in that movie that really happened.
Yep. They used they used real footage. So in some of it.
Where they ended up unable to communicate with base, so they got a landline and called their base back in the States.
They called back to Camp Lejeune, I think it was, to the operations center there, told them what was going on, gave them a grid coordinate, said, hey, we need some help. Camp Lejeune called it forward from their command post to another command post that went out to the theater commander, and he sent in an airstrike. Which may have been one of the longest distance communication loops to get an airstrike until modern times. Now, because everything's on satellite, I mean, you're sitting in Colorado flying drones in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Laura and I were talking. We were both slotted after we left high school. We're going to try to get into the Marines, and due to different instances, things that came up, neither one of us were able to. But we got to thinking we would have ended up at Camp Lejeune if we did go there. Back then, that would have been 80, 81, something like that.
Well,
Maybe 82.
I tried to join. I didn't make it through MEPS. Well, I tried to join. I did the squat, did the stand back up, and my left knee went. They went, next.
Yep.
Yeah.
I said, oh, it's no problem. It does it all the time. They go, we ain't going to pay for it.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Now, one other movie, John, you're talking about war movies that didn't get enough credit or kudos or whatever.
I'm trying to find that post. Let me see.
Oh,
What's that?
I found a good series that's playing on Paramount Plus right now. First episode just came out. Tulsa King.
There's a new war movie out about Vietnam that just came out that is supposed. It's not getting enough love either. It's called The Greatest Beer Run.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and my brother sent me. He was on that same site. Do you remember one from '78 called The Boys in Company C?
Yeah.
Yes.
That was another
Yes.
good one. That was a good one. It was in theaters, but it didn't get enough love. Some of the movies they mentioned, I'm going to go ahead and read a few of these.
Now, what streaming service is the beer run on?
Good question. He just says he saw or just got through watching it. He didn't say what it was on.
There's Kiri. Not in the room, but
Hey, Kiri. Yeah, I helped Kiri out on his stream today. He needed dad jokes, and I came.
oh
I can't-
Lord.
Yeah.
The movie I'm thinking of, John, is Gods and Generals.
That's a good one. And yeah, Gettysburg got a lot of hype, but Gods and Generals didn't.
Yeah, and which they felt, Gods and Generals was supposed to be the prequel to Gettysburg, obviously, as far as how the events ran, which of course it came out not until 2003 afterwards and all that. But my God, you had Jeff Daniels, you had Stephen Lang, Robert Duvall, Mike Sorbino, Kevin Conway, C. Thomas Howell. It just goes on and on and on, and it's one I finally got it on.
Yeah, I've got it on DVD somewhere.
DVD.
Let's see. I'm reading some of these off the post here. It was 12 O'Clock High.
Oh,
Apparently, he felt it didn't get enough love. The Thin Red Line,
Oh yeah.
which was real. I remember when that came out in the theaters, that got a lot of hype because it was supposed to be at a bunch of Academy Award winning.
It got a lot of hype, but it was panned a lot.
It's slow, and it took a while. Now, interesting enough, one of the ones they threw in here was Sink the Bismarck,
oh,
and I was like, okay. And then this guy, I don't know who this. I can't pronounce his name, so that I'll tell you something about what kind of movies he gets to watch and doesn't watch. Okay, 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, Battleground, which I do think that one. That one came out in '49, so it may have gotten a lot of love back then. Decision for Dawn, The Desert Rats. Yeah, I can see that. Sea of Sand, Ice Cold and Alex, Sink the Bismarck, The Bridget Remagen. That one had like an all-star cast. That one actually. Devil's Brigade. That was William Holden movie.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep. That was a good one.
Yeah, but he said it didn't get enough love, and I'm like, that was all over the damn. Bridge Too Far, which is ridiculous.
Love should also be subjective as well. I mean, it's.
Now, the one he does have in here, most of his are like, I can't believe. Yeah, you can tell he's a foreigner that he didn't get to see any of these movies. But The Siege of Firebase Gloria. That was starring Arlie Ermy. That was actually the first movie he starred in, or it was the first movie you ever saw him in that he starred in. Yeah, up until then, he was just a side actor. The first movie that he ever did was Apocalypse Now, where he played a helicopter pilot. But it took him so long to get Apocalypse Now made that he went and was starred in another movie, and it came out before Apocalypse Now got finished.
Works like that sometimes.
It do.
Mm-hmm.
See, Das Boat.
Oh, come on. That got
Seriously?
Yeah, that exactly. But he said Das Boat, that was his number one, but his number two was actually a good point. The Beast, which is an Afghanistan movie about a Russian tank crew. Canon Pictures. So it's a pretty good movie though.
That was
unrealistic.
number one, or Das Boat was number one?
His first one was Das Boat. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then his second one was The Beast, which was pretty darn.
I had to watch Das Boat 4 times in high school. Once each year, German.
Another one, same guy but different post, was the Bedford Incident. Anybody ever seen that one?
Nope.
It's
Never
a
heard
Cold
of it.
War. It's a Cold War movie. This American guided missile destroyer is hunting a Russian submarine that has snuck up on the Greenland Iceland coast, and it's pretty good. It's a pretty good movie. Sidney Poitier, darn it, Richard Widmark, a few other people you'd recognize. Let's see, somebody. These people obviously, like this guy here, Hamburger Hill. That thing was all over the Oscars that year.
Yeah.
Now, he mentioned Fighter Squadron. That's one that probably needed a lot more. Then this idiot mentions We Were Soldiers. Come on, everybody saw that damn movie.
But the thing about, not enough love is subjective. It's like, all right, you forget to buy your brother a present for his birthday, but he's the favorite child of the entire family. Everyone else gets a ton of shit, and there's going to be some family member that's going to be like, you didn't show your brother enough love on his birthday. I showed up, I didn't kick his ass. Come on.
He had a birthday? No.
I have a brother?
Yeah, I have a brother.
Really?
This guy, he put down Zulu. Which, geez.
Even Lindsay's seen that.
That's like saying Roots didn't get enough love, Might have got too much.
Here's another Memphis Belle. Jeez.
I saw that at the theater. I love that movie.
I'm kind of mixed on this one. I can't tell if this guy's an idiot or not. The Final Countdown with Kirk Douglas and Martin Sheen.
Oh yes,
I know the movie.
The time travel thing.
that's my favorite movies. Well, I catch it somewhere streaming and I watch it.
It's USS Nimitz goes through a time portal back in time to the day before Pearl Harbor gets attacked with a nuclear aircraft carrier strike group.
In that case, how about the Philadelphia Experiment with Michael Paré?
Technically, not really a war movie. I guess you could call it a war movie, but yeah, that's another good one. Now, somebody put They Were Expendable. And it's Greyhound. That's the new one from Tom Hanks with the destroyer thing. That one didn't get enough love. It was all a damn.
Yeah.
Now, The Great Raid, that is one, HBO did that one, where the Ranger unit went and rescued all the prisoners of war. That is definitely one of those movies that didn't get enough love because that was really done well.
Now, what this guy is saying didn't get enough love, does he mean by Oscars and things of that nature, or just the notoriety?
He doesn't explain what he means as far as I can understand it.
Yeah, it's just, let me see, I'll read the post. What's one war military movie that you think should have received more attention than it did?
So obviously this is just his opinion and not really based on
Well, there's all
anything.
these different people that answered the question. So.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And like I said, it gets really subjective.
Yeah.
That's
Because
like
it might not have seen a lot of attention in one market, but like something might not have got a lot of attention up here in Chicago, but down in Chattanooga and
maybe, I don't know. Like this guy, here's another one with a bridge too far. And
Yeah,
he's got Bridge Too Far, Greyhound, and Tora Tora Tora.
Oh my God. What? And not Midway?
Somebody put down Master and Commander.
Technically,
I think that got an awful lot of attention when it came out.
Somebody put down Band of Brothers.
Oh boy.
Okay, go ahead and comment and say Stripes.
Hey,
Yeah.
you got a point? No, but Stripes got a bunch. Let me see. Not Angry Shot, Siege of Fire, Winds of War. That was a good series. I need to find that again.
Hey, speaking of all this,
Cross of Iron. That is definitely one that could have gotten more attention. James Coburn.
Mhm.
Let's see. Somebody put down Midway.
of course.
Catch 22.
I thought of that, but I thought it was one
That
of
one,
those
that
things-
won Oscars though. That's good.
Yeah, it
I guess
got plenty of attention.
Let's see. Lost Battalion. That's a good one. Ricky Schroeder plays a Marine commander in World War One. Enemy at the
Okay,
Gate.
now you've lost me. That just boggled my concept meter.
Yeah, I'm thinking
But he actually did a good job in that.
he played a
Okay.
commander at 8 years
Played a
old.
He played a colonel. He was about 28 or 30, somewhere in that time.
right when he started campaigning big about dropping the Ricky and becoming just Rick Schroeder, I believe.
Yeah, I still think of him on Silver Spoons.
Face to face,
Little Ricky.
couple of silver spoons.
Down
Oh,
there-
hey.
down. Okay, this guy's obviously Navy. Down Periscope. Not bad for a documentary.
Wow.
What I need is a man with a tattoo on his dick. Oddly enough, sir, that
Did
you
he-
have.
Now
Let
this-
me guess.
Okay.
His other one is Mr. Roberts.
No, that's he only put the one in, and it's already. I gotta hang on a minute. I'm gonna put a ha-ha on that one. Okay, now this guy obviously doesn't watch enough war movies. Okay, PT 109, In Harm's Way, Heartbreak Ridge, They Were Expendable, The Sand Pebbles, Operation Petticoat, Hellcats of the Navy. I can't say. Mr. Roberts, and the Cane Mutiny.
No MASH?
Really? That's about the only one he missed.
Yeah, that's
Tom
about the
Arnold's
only one
McHale's
nobody's
Navy.
mentioned. Yeah, McHale's Navy.
Oh, now
Hogan's Heroes.
Here's a
Oh,
good
no,
one.
that was a documentary.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, and LeBeau passed away, 96 years old.
Mm-hmm. He was
Here's
the
a good
last
one,
one,
though.
wasn't he?
This guy.
Yep.
The 2004 version of The Alamo with Billy Bob Thornton. Which,
That got panned.
let's see.
Couldn't hold up to John Wayne's version, I guess.
Or the the Brian Keith version.
Yeah.
You heard
Which I
what
saw
David-
the John Wayne was that a Howard Hawks or John or
No, that was Bat Jack Productions. That was John Wayne himself.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Well, you heard what Davy Crockett said that morning when he peeked over the wall at the Alamo, don't you?
Ah,
Here
shit.
we go.
The Gardners are here.
No. Who ordered concrete? Dan?
Let's see.
I heard
Didn't have
something.
drywall back then. Let me
I
think.
heard something like that about Custer, and it's like, would you look at all them damn Indians?
Somebody else. I'm the one that put down 84 Charlie Mopic, and Shane Fox actually put it too.
All right, John, your audio's just.
Yeah, you dropped a little.
Really? What I get for talking about Mexican gardeners.
Somebody cut your cable.
Yeah.
John's
With a
getting
weed whacker.
censored.
I do not want that in my face, Barry. No, thank you.
There's another. Oh, somebody put in the Wild Geeks.
Going down the hall. Be right back.
The Wind and the Lion. That's a good one, but that was Sean Connery. That one got all sorts of attention.
Rich, I was reading something about cats the other day, and they say that is a sign that a cat trusts and loves you.
Or shoving his ass in your
Rub
face.
its belly.
Yeah.
I just made a little cat house for my outdoor feral kitties because it's so frickin' cold, and Friday and Saturday it's supposed to get lows in the teens, and with the winds it's probably going to be below zero. So and there's certain ways you have to make these things. First of all, the containers that you use, whether they're Rubbermaid or Stearite or whatever, they have to be a see-through, a clear container, because they need to be able to see if there are any predators in the box or outside the box. Then the hole has to be a certain size, because compared to the cat, so that the whiskers on the cat do not touch the either side of the opening of it. This just went on and on and on, and Laura was coaching me on it, but then I was watching this YouTube video when I was making this thing with my Dremel last night. But I ended up putting a heating pad in there and wrapping that in a beach towel and sticking it in, and I hope that they'll, you know, kind of not be scared of it. I've been putting the food near it, and then I thought they went in last night, or something went in there last night. Could have been a possum. I don't, you know, it'd be too, hole would be too small, opening would be too small for a raccoon, but it's just going to be cold.
You obviously don't know anything about raccoons.
Yeah.
If there's food involved, they can get to the hole.
Well, I'm not putting the food inside of it yet. I've left it outside, and
raccoons will engineer a way in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll chew or whatever in that, but then I'll see it.
No, they'll use science.
They'll knock on your door and ask for some duct tape.
I used to scare the hell out of the raccoons because I would run outside and hiss at them when they get into the garbage can. They're like, something's wrong with this human. It's hissing at us. It might be rabid. Let's get the hell out of here.
We had one that learned to undo bungee cords holding a lid on a trash can that the cat food was inside. It didn't chew through the bungee cords. It undid them.
I keep thinking about the Great Outdoors movie and the whole incident with the coons and the trash cans.
I had one open a box of chicken crackers
and laugh at you.
And laugh at me. Reach in, pull one out, show it to me before the little bastard ate it.
I had one break in my car, hot wire it to start it up to keep itself warm all night long.
Hey, that was a class in my high school. Don't knock that.
And then it wouldn't even replace the gas in my car. Son of a bitch. No, they can get into a lot, and I know that the pecking order is that the coons always get first dibs on everything, and second and third and fourth, and then it's supposed to be possums and then cats, and they typically, the possums and the cats usually know it, but
not down here. The cats will eat out of the same bowl as the raccoon and the possum at the same time. They just
Jenny's
don't make fun of the new kitty. He looks funny, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
He took on a few raccoons a time or five when he was still an inside-outside cat.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, I'll share. but you are not getting it and leaving me out.
Yep.
Oh, before I forget, John's background there. This weekend, if you wish to see that particular episode of WKRP in Cincinnati, they're starting their little Merry Christmas episodes and for the whole month of December. And this Sunday, now I don't know what order is what, but they do it from 11 to 4 Central Standard. So I guess it would be noon to 5 your end. But anyway, the turkey drop episode is going to be one of the episodes on this Sunday. And then I am very pleased to announce that they're going to have shown the first of 2 Peanuts cartoons, You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, this Sunday, and then next Sunday will be Snoopy Come Home to celebrate the 100th birthday of Charles Schultz.
And what network will this be?
Me TV.
Okay.
Yep, and this is going to be the first time in 3 years since Peanuts episode or special is going to be on network television again, and hopefully it'll be the first of many. Knowing Me TV, they're probably going to try to wrangle a lot of that away from Disney Plus.
Well, Apple Plus is the one that owns
Apple, I meant. I'm sorry.
Did everybody get quiet all of a sudden? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
I thought
really.
I lost comms there for a second. I was over here trying to find Lewis's thing here.
Well, I haven't heard the beep anymore, so whatever battery it was is going dead, probably dead by now. Either that or it might actually be, although I've never heard it before, the landline phone, because Lindsay's talking to her son, and it might be trying to warn me the line's in use. So.
Now, John, isn't it when a unexploded shell, when you hear a ticking in it, you worry about it, but then when the ticking stops is when you really worry? So I'm thinking maybe it's time for Dan to really worry now.
No, if that's what it is, it's just trying to tell me don't interrupt. Somebody using this.
Yeah, they haven't had those type of munitions since World War II, but Russia's probably throwing them in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Well, they had one on an episode of MASH before, so you know they had to have it at least through Korea.
One of our mortar fuses, they told you if you hear a buzzing sound, take it to the dud pit. They never explained what made the buzzing noise. Just
It was something you had to get into a place that let it go off harmlessly.
The thing was, it was a mechanical fuse. There should not be any buzz. I mean, it's not like you wind it up or something. There should not be any buzzing in this thing. Unless the people putting it together at the munitions plant put a bunch of bees in it or something. It should not be buzzing. If it's making a buzzing noise. Now, we did have one that had a little gyroscope type thing in it.
Oh.
And when the mortar round came out of the mortar, it had to spin so many times before it would arm the fuse safety device. That's the only thing I could think of that would buzz, but how the hell are you going to spin a mortar round fast enough to get a damn gyro to move, you know? Now, the only thing I can think of is if you're handling it in the back of the armored personnel carrier and you drop it and it lands sideways and rolls down the ramp. Okay. That's about the only thing I can think of that would cause it to do that.
Oh, hang on 1 minute. I got to do something for Donna. Hang on just a second. Carl, wake up! Okay, go ahead.
John, that's sort of like that video that I posted of the mortar training. Guys drop it in, and it don't go off. Everybody takes off running. This guy walks over and looks at it.
Pulls out a rubber mallet.
Boom!
Well, back in my day, proper misfire procedure was misfire. Okay, you drop the round, nothing happens. Everybody backs off except the gunner. The gunner stands behind the gun and kicks it about 3 times. Same thing, basically. Then he secures the sight and leaves. Well, he leaves and then later comes back and secures the sight. And then they got this whole thing you do. Check to see if it's hot because it may have been cooking off in the tube. It's not hot. You very slowly unscrew the mortar from the base plate, slowly lift it up. One guy puts his hands on either side of the muzzle while the other guy lifts up the back end and tries to shake the mortar round out.
Ooh. While
the other guy catches it. Needless to say, that's a lot of fun.
It sounds like it. There was a episode of Gomer Pyle USMC that had a mortar round that didn't pop out of the tube, and Gomer finally figured out he was missing a swish boom. So he went to the storage facility where it was and kicked it. It went right out through the roof and didn't blow up on the inside of the building.
You have to keep a round count of how many rounds go down range, and we have on one occasion we were going through the boxes, the dunnage that was left over, and somebody had brought a live round in the tube back to the dunnage like it was empty, and so we were already cleared off the range and had a live round left. So it accidentally went down range.
It's proper disposal?
Without proper authorization.
Oh, okay. Nobody filled out the paperwork.
What happens on the day that you go out and you come back with more rounds than you left with?
We have actually done stuff like that. We went to this one demolition range down in Fort Stewart, Georgia, and it's just this bare spot, and they've got a bunch of stuff you can blow up, old concrete, doors and cars and just whatever. And you have to do, before you go out and blow anything up, you do a survey. You go out and do a little reconnaissance around the perimeter. So we're out there doing our perimeter look, and we keep finding like 1/3 and 1/4 blocks of C4 laying in the woods. We picked up almost 20 pounds of C4 plastic explosive.
Somebody really don't like them the wildcats out there.
They were priming their C4 the way you prime TNT. And the det cord cut the C4 without putting enough pressure on it to get it to detonate. So they were shooting half of it off into the woods before the other half would explode. And now, here's what's funny. I went back to my squad and I had a block of C4 about this big around. Laid it on the ground behind the track, dug me a little hole, put it in the hole, pulled out a pack of matches, lit it. There's about 12-foot flames coming off of that thing. That stuff burns hot. You always see those Vietnam War movies where they're cooking with C4. They're cooking with this much. I lit what was probably 1/3 of a pound. So
I was thinking you had a nice little sterno there.
Now, what happened when you turned all that shit back in?
Nothing. We blew it up downrange.
Oh.
We just had more fun.
What'd you do? Put it all in a pile and start shooting mortars at the pile?
Oh, we didn't have mortars then. That was back when I was mortars when I originally was in the Army. I was a light combat engineer with National Guard. So One of them, we delivered them by airmail. We delivered our explosives by airmail, then joined the National Guards, and we hand delivered our explosives.
Oh.
Now, did you have to file paperwork on all the C4 you found?
No. For two reasons. One, we would have gotten somebody else in trouble. We did notify range control. Range control was out there when we did it, so and they didn't want to deal with it either. So basically, we got rid of it with our stuff. What's funny is C4 is not that hard to blow up. It's just different than TNT. TNT, you wrap det cord around the cans or run a blasting cap into the hole in the can. C4, you run a blasting cap in one end of it, and then you lay your C4 is designed to be stacked because C4 was originally designed to cut steel. Okay. So it's designed to be basically, you stack it in a line, kind of like bricks, but you overlap them so that when the first one blows up, it continues down the line.
Explosive dominoes.
Like shingles. No.
Yeah, I was thinking more of dominoes after you knocked them down.
Exactly.
Now, what I was wondering is, I watch all these movies where they got this big stack of C4, and then they got the timer off to the side, and all the little detonators in the C4s. I'm going, why are you fucking with these wires when all you got to do is just pull that detonator out, hand that block to C4 to somebody else, gently lay that off to the side, pull another one out.
Hollywood, same reason all the explosions have so much fire in them.
Yeah.
Is they're using gasoline or propane or something. So.
But isn't that how y'all would probably say?
It's kind of funny when you're in the military and you deal with this sort of stuff on a regular basis. Then you go watch a movie and you're like, what the hell are they doing?
Just unplug it.
Yeah.
Rambo. Okay. First Blood Part 2, the one where he went to Vietnam to rescue the POWs.
Lots and lots of mistakes, I take it.
Big time. Well, now here's what's funny. They have this scene where he's flying a helicopter, he lands, the other helicopter to land, and he's playing dead in the helicopter, and the helicopter drops in front of him, and they're getting ready to shoot him up, and he jumps up with the Law's rocket launcher and shoots the helicopter out of the air with three guys in the back.
They would have got roasted.
60-meter back blast on an M72A2 Laws.
Ooh, he would have incinerated the rest of the helicopter as well as the guys.
It would have blown the tail off the helicopter. Well,
plus, did he open the door and lean out, or did he shoot?
There was a convenient hole in the windscreen.
A convenient hole. Okay, well, scriptwriter got that right.
So here I am. We're stationed in Berlin. We're doing our expert infantry badge training. Okay, so we're out at the range for expert infantry badge. Sylvester Stallone and his movie people are in Berlin. I can't remember what they were doing, but the East German government would not permit them visas to go visit East Germany. Okay, so they had nothing to do. So somehow or another, the U.S. Army invited them out to our EIB training. So here's Sylvester Stallone, who, by the way, is only about 5 feet 5 inches tall. He only comes up about here on me, which shocked the hell out of me. I was expecting, but
How do you think I felt when I met the Fonz?
So he comes out, and sure enough, they ask him about it, and I'll give him credit. He goes, okay, I know. He says, it was goofed up. Okay, he says, and I'll tell you exactly what happened. He says, we wrote the movie, we had this really great screenplay, we're doing the movie, and we went over budget. So instead of doing the ending I wanted, we had to do the ending that we could afford. And we were like, okay, we can get we get that. Okay.
Oh dear.
we were talking earlier about John Wayne's Alamo, and that was a pet project. He started his own production company and called it Bat Jack Productions, and his oldest son, Michael, ran Bat Jack Productions, and they're the ones that did that. They did it on their own. And John Wayne went out to find the financing for it. He got a bunch of money for it, but eventually he wanted to direct the movie, which he did. But he didn't want to play Davy Crockett. He wanted to play Sam Houston, which was a much smaller role. That way he would have more time
to direct.
Yeah. And of course he's been around, John Ford and Howard Hawks and some of these really famous directors, so he knows a little bit about directing. But this would have been the first movie he ever directed. Well, the studio said, well, listen, we're not going to give you any more money unless you are one of the 3 starring characters. It says it needs John Wayne's name on it to be a draw. It's like, well, you don't think John Wayne is Sam Houston is big enough draw? And he had to mortgage his house, 2 of his houses, and a yacht to finance the movie.
I thought didn't.
Because they wouldn't give him the money he wanted. And then, he had to, he couldn't film at the Alamo. He was going to film at a similar ruin in Mexico, but the Daughters of Texas, the Alamo people, the people that own the Alamo basically and keep it up, they told him if he filmed that in Mexico, they'd boycott the movie. So he wound up having people build an Alamo set out somewhere in Texas. And it's still there, and they still use it for movies. It's still a movie set.
Kept having to run Ozzy Osbourne away from one of the walls, but
well, if you go see the Alamo today, it's actually surrounded by skyscrapers.
Yeah. A big park. Oh, that park's beautiful though. That's one thing I'll give them credit. They put canals in, so it's like a really nice walking park with water and canal boats and stuff like that.
I thought John Ford helped to finance that movie.
Not really. John Ford actually came in and looked at it and kind of shot some stuff for it, but it wasn't anything they could use. So, okay. He was real old by then, and just wasn't as energetic as some of his earlier work. But
I know I was.
I
watched it one time on Turner Classic Movies, and Leonard Maltin always has little trivia and info on it, and I know he was talking about it, but I couldn't remember.
Of course, he got Richard Widmark, who played Bowie, James Bowie.
Bowie, yeah.
And then I can't remember the British actor that played Colonel Travis. I'll remember him. Anyway, of course, he wound up having to play Davy Crockett. He was originally going to get Richard Widmark to play Davy Crockett, and they wound up having to switch the roles around because of this studio decision. So he went and called a friend of his, Richard Boone, to play Sam Houston because he got stuck playing Davy Crockett. Richard Boone comes in, and Richard Boone's a friend of his. They hang out together. Stuff like this. Lawrence Harvey. Thank you, Sarah.
Yeah.
Put that up there just to give her good credit instead of the crappy voice recognition credit. Okay. Anyway, Richard Boone comes in, and Richard Boone had heard him and John Wayne talking, had heard about all the financial troubles he was having making the movie. And Richard Boone said, listen, I will forego my salary on this movie to help you out on one condition. John Wayne's what? He says, that buckskin jacket that you have Sam Houston wearing in the movie? He goes, yeah. Give me that buckskin jacket as my payment for the movie.
Sold American.
Which it is.
Now,
it is a beautiful jacket. But,
oh yeah.
I know Frankie Avalon played Smitty
right
in the movie, but who did Patrick Wayne play? on that.
The lieutenant. He played a young lieutenant.
I'm going to have to look this up now. This is bugging me.
He was the guy that came in and apologized for Jim Bowie not being able to present himself to Sam Houston. He says, he's feeling a little bit under the weather, sir. He says, you mean he's drunk? He says, yes, sir. He says, then say he's drunk. It's Jim Bowie. I know he drinks.
Really?
James Butler or something or other. Oh, Chill Wills.
Chill Wills.
Beekeeper.
Yeah, Beekeeper.
Ken Curtis. Captain. They never. And of course, Hank Warden played Parson. Of course, he's in how many different John Wayne movies?
I mean, I think he is pretty much the guy that holds up Back Jack Productions when nobody else is around. So.
Right. Denver Pyle.
I'm trying to remember. I was reading this the other day, and now I've forgotten it. John Wayne started a production company with another guy, and I think his name was Butler. I might be wrong about this. But after a while, they parted ways, went their own ways, and that's when John Wayne started Bat Jack Productions, and somewhere down the line got his son Michael run it. And Michael actually, he kind of liked running it, but he didn't like running it because it was John Wayne's production company, and he basically couldn't run it the way he wanted to because John Wayne. And he was like, he said, he would look at scripts, and he said, I couldn't show my dad any crappy scripts, or he would have fired me on the spot. So he had to, the only scripts he could get were really good ones, which was hard to do because really good scripts were hard to come by. And you had to pay more for them. So it was hard to do that. He says, but I did have one advantage over everybody else in Hollywood. He says, everyone else would have to pay like $30,000 to get John Wayne to read their script. He would read mine for free.
Dad, this one's okay, but you're going to have a problem with scene 26.
And now, what was the one? It wasn't a Western, but it was one of John Wayne's really good movies, and now I can't remember what it was. Look this crap up again. It popped up on my Facebook feed. I read it. Now I didn't read it close enough to remember it well.
And by the way, Captain James Butler Bonham is who Patrick Wayne played in there. And I'm looking because I think Michael Wayne was in that movie too. Some sort of part.
You said it was a good movie, so it wasn't the one where he was Genghis Khan.
No, it was not that one.
It wasn't Brannigan, was it?
No.
Okay.
I think no, because that one had a bunch of British actors. I don't think that was Bat Jack.
There's a lot of Waynes in the Alamo movie. Tyler Wayne.
His daughter was in it. Alyssa was in it.
Tori Wayne.
I'm looking up John Wayne's filmography.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Was it? No, not Brannigan. McHugh. Okay.
I think they could have made another Brannigan. As popular as Eastwood was doing with all of his Dirty Harry movies and that at the time, I think that was one of the things that kind of really helped it out.
There was a sci-fi writer who mentioned as part of the background in one of the books that the hero was watching a movie while they were waiting for something to happen. And basically, it was a Clint Eastwood Dirty Harry with John Wayne playing Dirty Harry. It was an alternate universe story, so it made sense. And I just looked at that and I go, what a concept! That would have been okay.
Robert Fellows was the guy that started his production company with. See, I'm trying to find it. The Islands in the Sky. Was that they never put this stuff where you can find it. You have to search.
Well, and half the time they don't put it in chronological order either. That helps you.
No, they're actually pretty good about that. Here.
Everyone, I'm like Wikipedia and that.
Depends on who wrote the Wikipedia article.
Yeah, which I know anybody can.
Oh, yeah. Apparently, at one time, I was listed as a Wikipedia editor for some reason.
Because you edited your own stuff?
No, I can't do my own stuff. Apparently, it was a addition to a minor entry in a Doctor Who thing.
Really?
Yeah, but for some reason, for a while, they had me listed as an official Wikipedia editor. But I did the little bit that I knew and moved on.
Okay, he founded Batjack in 1952, but then it was known as Wayne Fellows. And then in 56, it went to Batjack. And let's see. First Batjack production was Big Jim McLean. And then final film was McHugh. I thought that was.
Oh, McHugh, yeah.
I'm trying to, let me see. Oh, well, let me see. Hondo, that was a Batjack.
Yeah, that's one Sarah mentioned.
The High and the Mighty was that was one of the early Robert Fellow ones. And then so I'm trying to man. Darn it, I was just thinking that was a really good movie and Cast a Giant Shadow, that was the one with him and Kirk Douglas.
Now, something about John Wayne in his westerns. I'm trying to remember where I heard this. That because of the size of his hands, he did not have a large, like a big honking Colt 45. That he had like a 38 or something like that equivalent.
Most of the time he had a custom Colt Peacemaker. A standard 45 cowboy gun, basically, but it had what was it? Is it water buffalo or buffalo horn handles? And you can always tell because it's got this kind of yellow orange grips on it. And during the John Wayne era, he's carrying that same pistol in every damn movie. Okay, and right up until the time he did True Grit. That was the gun he carried, was that Colt 45. And then he complained when he finally got to do True Grit. He said, "This is my favorite movie I've done in the last 20 years because I actually get to act as a character in a movie for the first time in 20 years. Because for the last 20 years, every movie I've made has been a John Wayne movie. It's just me standing there being John Wayne." Says he's even wearing the same hat, guns, gun belt, and shirt and pants in a lot of those movies. They didn't even change the wardrobe.
Very rarely.
Trivia point. The company that made the gun belts for not only John Wayne, but a lot of other people, is still in business.
Yes.
And they are very high quality work.
I'm trying to remember. Damn it, I've got one of their holsters too.
Yeah,
Galco.
I think so. I think it's either that or something very like that. But they're steamed leather, they're waxed, they're stained, it's deluxe. It's the Cadillac of holsters.
Galco gun leather.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Let's see. Oh, come on, you gotta have. Oh man, the one damn web page I want to have about us in the title. You know, one of the things that tells you all about Galco, and it's not there.
Oh.
Of course, everything they do now is plastic. Contact us, press. About Galco. There we go. It's way down at the bottom. It was founded in 1969 as a small family business in Chicago, Illinois. It started out as the famous Jackass Leather Company. The name took its inspiration from Rick's stubborn adherence to the highest standards of quality. Apparently, he wouldn't cut corners and ticked off his business partners.
Yeah, really. We could make this cheaper, but then it wouldn't be good.
They're also saying that John Wayne was among the first big screen actors to use an M16 variant in a movie, and he was the first to use a Mac 10.
Yep. That was McHugh. Okay. He had a suppressed 9mm Mac 10, which was odd because the original Mac 10 was in 45 ACP. Of course, you couldn't get those because that was the standard Special Forces weapon at the time.
Yep. Didn't they make one in 380?
Eventually, but that was the Mac 11.
Ah.
They make a Mac 11 in 9. It's the smaller one. They make it 9 and 380 and 32. But that's kind of an odd brand.
Really? That's when you really want to punch a lot of holes in something, but you got to get real close.
32 is not bad. I would not. If I had a choice between 32 and 380, I'd go with the 380, even though 32 is a little cheaper. But
okay, I got a question for you.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's the difference between a 38 and a 380?
380 is about like that.
No.
It's about like that.
Anything that says 38
Yeah.
in the title, including 9mm and 327s, are all 38 caliber. That's how big around the bullet is. The difference is the shape and weight of the actual projectile and the shape of the cartridge and the amount of powder that goes into it. There's like, you get a 38 Smith & Wesson, you can get a 38 Special, a 357 Magnum, 357 Lapua, I think it's called. There's some oddball ones.
I started to ask.
Fire.
I started to ask you what was the one that the guys in South America and the security forces always. You said 38 Super, was it?
38 There's 38 Super, 38 Special, 38 Smith & Wesson, 38 Remington. You get the 9mm Luger. The 380 is the 9mm short. In America, we call it a 380 auto. In Europe, they call it a 9mm short. There are longer 9mm cartridges than the 9mm Luger. I think they've got one called a 9mm Super or something like that. I can't remember.
And
I think there's a 9mm Winchester Super. But 38 is pretty much the most common diameter of round. They even make 38 different 38 pistol or rifle rounds for rifles, hunting bullets.
There was a handgun manufacturer that would make a revolver. I think they were named Medusa, and basically using that thing and a couple of little half moon clips, you could fire any 9mm, 38, 357,
Of course, you should-
7.63 Mauser round.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
As long as it was a pistol cartridge,
right,
it would
Course.
fit in this thing.
There's
Well, what about the judge?
the 45 410s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
45. That's another one.
45 long Colt,
You
410.
got 45 long Colt, 45 Colt, 45 Smith and Wesson, 45 Remington, and then you've got all of the military pistol, carbine, rifle cartridges, all the way up to like, you got 4570, 4580. I mean, it's for 4590, 45 110, 45 140. That thing quickly down under that rifle he's shooting, if I remember correctly, was a 45 140.
For Willoughby?
So it's some god awful.
Yeah. Now,
Is that the movie? Just wait till Willoughby shows up.
now the judge and the circuit court judge, is that the rifle version? I forget. If you are in a situation where you want to be able to scavenge for ammunition and use anything, or if you're in a situation where you're either going to be out mowing the yard looking for rattlesnakes, or you might want to target shoot a little bit, that's a great thing. But it's not as precise as it could be, because it's got to try and not only fire a slug that has to go through a rifle barrel, but a shotgun shell that has to go through a smoothbore in the same barrel. So evidently it's not as good as one would think. I've got a little Derringer, 2-shot Derringer, little. It's the biggest. Well, let's just say it just barely fits in my hand, and it flawlessly cycles 45 long Colt and 410 shotgun shells, as long as it's the 2.5 inch, not the 3 inch.
It's Thursday, not Friday.
And I usually tote that with the shotgun shells in it when I'm out mowing the yard, because we got all kinds of snakes around here. And there's only 2 that I have to worry about and want to worry about.
Back in a moment.
The rest of them are harmless. So if you're a copperhead, oh wait, so there's a third one, the water moccasin, but I don't ever go down to the creek, so I wouldn't see those. Yeah, little pistol with shotgun shells works out all right. It's just one of those things. You either love it or you hate it.
Well, as far as the snakes go, I hate it. I learned to stay away and keep good, healthy distance.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've even got inserts for a flare gun that will keep a flare gun from exploding when you put a 22 round in it, or a 45 long Colt, or a 410 shotgun shell. Flare guns are not made to stand up to gunpowder pressures. So these little inserts fit down in the barrel and make it real hard to lock the chamber. And you have to carry around something like a shish kebab stick to poke everything to get the spent round out, because they expand and there's no extractor. So the little wooden stick is your extractor. It's definitely a single shot only, but I went out and tested that thing on some targets, and at 15, 20 feet, it's as accurate as anything I've ever used.
Who would want to live fire a flare gun now?
Well,
It'd
I
be
mean,
an awful lot of misery.
It's not a flare, it's an actual pistol cartridge and shotgun shell cartridge. You're just using the framework and the barrel of the flare gun with the insert to make sure it doesn't explode in your face. Yeah.
For all the years that I was a Civil War reenactor, me and my friend both carried 1861 model 58 caliber Springfield rifles, big 3-band rifles.
Mm-hmm.
And we, for years, of course, used those in the reenactments, which of course you just put your lady fingers full of gunpowder, you dump that down there in the barrel and then
Tamp it down and don't put a slug.
Tamp it down and no slug. You got the little brass percussion cap on the nipple, and boom, and it could, and you could put a double load or something in there if you want to cause a little bit more commotion. But we had never live fired those Springfields ever. And then one day, it happened to be a weekend that my brother and my sister-in-law come to spend the weekend with me at the farmhouse. They were getting a German Shepherd over in Dana, Indiana, and they wanted to, since I was close down there, say, can we spend the weekend down there? Okay. And I said, bring some guns with you and some ammunition and that, and we'll do some target shooting. I said, my landlord, he doesn't mind as long as we go out behind the barn. And so anyway, my friend who reenacted with me says, hey, I have some mini balls and stuff. Let's live fire the Springfields. And I'm like, okay. And of course, I did it, and it gives the proper kick standing there, and we had targets set up and everything. I wanted to see how good I was at target shooting with that, and not good, not bad. And then so my friend decided, I'm going to get down in a sharpshooter position and live fire it. And he basically did a backflip from the kick from it.
That's gonna hurt. Yeah.
Guys, we got to do a public service announcement for our South Florida viewers.
Oh.
National Weather Service has issued a falling iguana warning. It says they slow down or become immobile when it's below 40 degrees. They may fall from the trees, but they're not dead.
However, the cougars that fall from the trees are very much alive and upset.
This Stupid O'Clock PSA brought to you by Geico.
And the level of upset depends on whether they're blonde, brunette, or redhead.
Yeah.
Okay, Bill, I got to ask you, what group were you with the Civil War reenacting? Were you with the group out of Galena?
Well, we started off with the 12th Alabama Infantry. And then when we moved, I'm sorry, Dan.
I was thinking he was asking where was the group located, not what unit you were portraying.
No, the unit, the portraying, because
okay.
The lady
I got it entirely backwards. My mistake.
The lady I used to work with, she just retired earlier this year. Her and her husband, their unit was based out of Galena.
No, we very briefly would galvanize with a couple of Illinois groups, but we typically, when we started our own unit, I was living in Rockville, Indiana, as well as my friend that I just talked about here a couple minutes ago with his first experience with live firing in Springfield, we decided that we wanted to, because nobody else had, but two, it was our local unit was the 14th Indiana Company A Infantry, which would have been Rockville, Brazil, Terre Haute, that whole whatever 50, 60 mile an hour radius. And they were also instrumental in a lot of campaigns throughout the Civil War, Gettysburg being a big one. And so that's, we wanted to be Confederate soldiers, and that's how we started out with 12th Alabama, because everybody wants to be a rebel. Nobody wants to be portraying unions or anything. And then you go all dressed up in your grays, and if you're not already with a unit, you soon find out if you try to galvanize with another unit, they'll tell you a lot of times that you can't do it because it's not balanced enough for this particular battle. And so anyway, and I know we're short on time, so I'll make this very brief, but you either got to put on a blue suit or you're not able to participate in it. And that's the other reason why we wanted to do something local. But we got, and the 14th Indiana is still in existence. We have our own Facebook group and Facebook page, our own website. But a lot of families have gone through it now. And so that's the one I was with the most of my 27 years doing it.
Okay. I'm getting sleepy, guys. I'm trying.
Oh.
And there is no last man standing tonight, correct?
That is correct. I am feeling the burn from sitting for a little bit too long. It seems to be getting better, actually, little by little. But I've been trying to get a doctor's appointment where I can have this seen to and find out whether or not anything can be done. But it ain't materializing because it's the end of the year, too close to the holidays, so they're all full. But
And the insurance companies are really not wanting you to make appointments this last 2 months because most people have already met their deductible.
I wouldn't have, because I rarely ever have any need of medical attention. So I've got to fill out the forms to renew my work insurance, pick out anything I want to change or whatever what we got. And since I've only got like 14 months left to work, unless I want to go way out of pocket, I need to get this thing to within the next year. Yeah, really. Now, Lindsay and I have not been able to secure rooms for LibertyCon, so we're thinking seriously about just rolling over our memberships till next year. And she is already planning and plotting what to do at next HallowCon. Oh, you got her hooked, Joe Dog. You got her hooked.
Yeah, well, I can guarantee you will get a room at HallowCon.
Donna says not finding last man standing. Donna, that's because there's not going to be one. I'm hurting, honey. I'm sorry. I've been able to get through the show, but it's just sitting down is torture for me right now.
I can sympathize, Dan.
I've got to get up and I've got to walk around some. The only time I don't hurt is when I'm at work and I've walked 10 miles a day in 8 hours. So this is not good.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed, but I've been changing positions a lot.
Yeah, well, I know your back has been giving you hell for years. So it's more of the same. More of the same.
I've either got to find a good cushion or a new chair.
I am planning to be having Last Man Standing Saturday night.
All righty.
And Donna, Carl, I will try and make it all the way through the green room tomorrow night. I might actually be late getting there, but I'm not sure. I've got stuff I've got to do as soon as I get home. But aside from that, you know.
Oh, I was going to tell you real quick, Dan. You know, I showed you my little Victrola.
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about last week and getting the power adapter. It came in. I got one from Amazon, and it came in and it works beautifully.
Good.
I was putting on my Beatles "Please Please Me" album, and first time I played vinyl in probably 25 years.
Oh, and my brother just messaged me on Facebook. The greatest beer run ever is on Apple TV Plus.
Good, I've got that. I've got Apple TV Plus, Paramount Plus, Hulu, Netflix, and Disney Plus.
I'll wait for the book to come out.
Well, the only thing that we've got so far is Disney Plus, Netflix, and Roku, which has buckets of stuff on it. Lindsay she's going absolutely. She's got her British soap operas back, and she is just absolutely pleased. So, Bill, who you gonna shoot?
Oh, cord just came out is all.
Oh,
Nothing serious.
I heard a round being chambered. I'm sorry, I know that sound.
No live firing tonight, folks. We were talking about it.
Shoot your eye out.
That sounds like a 12 gauge being racked.
Really.
I just have a good microphone. That's all. As far as you know.
It's entirely too good.
Yeah, probably.
Hell, my Desert Eagle doesn't sound that damn impressive.
Right. Well, we're right at 2 minutes to go, and the outro is 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
Let's just say goodnight, everybody, and
say goodnight,
see everybody Saturday night. The
Don't
ones that
forget
we
to thaw
don't
your turkeys. Thaw those turkeys.
Still at it.
Yeah. Get your turkeys out of the freezers, everybody. All right. Let's say goodnight.
They're cold.
I have slept the surly bonds of earth and danced the skies on laughter-silvered wings. Sunward I've climbed and joined the tumbling mirth of sun-split clouds and done 100 things you have not dreamed of. Wheeled and soared and swung high in the sunlit silence. Hovering there, I've chased the shouting wind along and flung my eager craft through footless halls of air. long, delirious, burning blue, I've topped the windswept heights with easy grace, when never lark nor even eagle flew. And while with silent, lifting mind, I've trod the high, untrespassed sanctity of space, put out my hand and touched the face of God.